So we're having a conversation earlier before we got into the studio, and we're talking about, how you expressed your feeling as to how you lost a transaction.
Yes,
it
hurts.
It hurts, right? Of course, losing money hurts,
When you
right?
lose a transaction.
But I think the most important thing for me is it's not so much about losing the money. It's so much about
It's about losing the money. Don't mind me.
It's about what I did or what I didn't do.
Got you.
Okay.
And what lessons to take away from that?
I want to take away, right?
Okay,
So it's
fair
always
enough.
so much around, do I have anything I could have controlled
Right.
to get that transaction going on? Or was it
I did everything. Yeah.
exactly? So
I could have followed up better though. That's one thing I could have done.
but like you said, the people they went to,
We don't know what they did, but
right?
Yeah.
So basically for me, I think it wasn't part of what God has counted as a cost.
okay.
In terms of what is coming your way,
Right.
but we are believers, right? I always
Absolutely.
believe that it's the Lord that gives us all the power to get
Yes.
wealth, right?
In fact, the Bible calls him his Abba, right? Which means source.
Yeah,
Actually, no,
exactly.
sorry. Abba means
Abba is
father.
father.
But father also means like source.
Yeah, in another.
Source.
So I think
yeah. God
just
is
to
the
encourage
ultimate
you,
source.
don't feel too bad.
Oh no! For me, instead of fire in my bones, it's like okay, I lost this one, we lost this one. Okay,
We're not losing anything.
now on to the next 12 or 15
That's
or
it. So
20.
the key
Yeah,
thing, it
let's
was a
go.
lesson. What should we have done
Yeah.
better, right, in that transaction, and how can we improve it? As
Hey,
long
three
as
more came my way, so I'm happy.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
So, yeah, those
So
one
let's
you get
celebrate the
three.
3 wins.
Yeah,
Where's my
thanks.
bell? I don't have that.
Yeah,
Let's celebrate the
I
3
actually
wins.
have a bill. Next time I'll bring a bill to the podcast.
We actually even have. So yeah. So I think it's important for us to always celebrate the wins.
Absolutely.
No matter how little it is,
Yep.
it's something, right? Because it would have not become a win. It would have gone somewhere else. So
Yeah.
chill, but
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right,
I
great.
mean, again, we're like, July is about to come to an end.
Absolutely.
Again, guys, you want to buy a house as your real estate goal at the start of this year. Where are you with your goals? Put it in the chat box or in the
yeah.
comment section.
You
We
wrote
want to
those
know.
things down. It was probably part of your plans. Even if it's savings, where are you with your savings?
Exactly.
Right? Are you keeping
right.
track? I hope you've not used that. You've not going to use that money for vacation. Okay, because
But I
it's
remember
summer.
a few episodes back, you were the one that was saying, "Oh, still take your vacations." That's what you said.
Yeah, but I'm not saying you should take your vacation when you have a goal of buying a property. I'm saying take your vacation,
Fair enough.
right? Have a balanced saving. So
Right.
the idea is don't save all your money to want to buy a property. Have a balanced saving.
Got you.
But now, whatever you've allocated for the property, don't go deep into it.
Into it and
go
use
to
it to
vacation.
buy. Yeah. I see
If
your
all
point.
if vacation if all you can go is to just take a drive from here to Hamilton with yourself or
How
with
is-
your
how is-
partner
how is that
and
a
just
vacation?
lodge 1 day or 2 days, it's a vacation because it's home away from home.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
right. So I think that's a good thing. Just want to welcome our viewers today.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome again to your one and only YLG podcast with Nasser.
And Joe.
Yeah, today we decided to flip the other words, right? I introduced my brother, so he's introducing me. Okay. So how's been your week?
My week has been very interesting. Like I said, busy week for us in the real estate space. I have a good sense that things are really, really going to start picking up now.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling that momentum, that drive in the market. And it looks like, it doesn't feel like, it hasn't been, no announcements yet, but it looks like that tariff situation might be wrapping up very soon. And I feel like once that happens, things are
gonna
just
ease
going
up
to just, yeah, so hopeful to see successful conclusion to that for Canada at least. And then we can just, get back to business and just keep doing what we do.
Absolutely. And one thing I wanted to share today is the fact that don't ever allow anyone put you under pressure. Maybe that's the nugget for today to take away is the fact that real estate is always going to be there.
Right.
The only difference is the value might not be what it is anymore.
Sure.
It might have gone up, it might have come down, but it's always going to be there. There's always going to be room for you.
There'll always be
There's always
opportunities.
opportunity for you to find something you want to do. And I think part of what we're going to be talking about today is so much around, there's a part people don't focus on in real estate.
A lot of parts.
People focus so much on I call it the primary, which is buying a property,
Right.
residential property, of any kind of structure, right? But before we get into that juice, now I want to share a very interesting thing that happened over the week.
Okay, spill.
I saw a property that sold just in my neighborhood, like a few seconds drive away from me. And you know that feeling when you're feeling like I'm a realtor.
And this sold.
This sold.
Yours was your neighbor. The most recent one for me was across my house.
And you're like,
I came out and saw a sold sign.
sold. And you're going to think
like,
like,
wait,
is
what?
there something I'm not doing right?
Right.
Is it like I'm visible out there, but I'm not visible around?
To be fair, I wasn't doing what you were doing in the sense that I remember you door knocking your
Yeah.
neighborhood. I've never door knocked my neighborhood to knock and say. Again, I guess my fear is, I don't know if that's a real thing, but my fear is, do you want your clients knowing that you live right across the street? So the client can literally come across and say, hey, Nasser, well, how is the deal going? What's going on? Like, it's for me, it's too close for comfort, if that makes sense. I don't know.
But I think it's professional.
Right.
I mean, it's whatever, how you keep it. But I think the big interesting thing for me is the fact that just creating that visibility.
Right.
Right. But also, because again, it helps people know that you understand the environment.
Right. True.
Like, this is your neighborhood. True. So any insight, any data you're providing is from a place of knowing.
And I thought the painful part is, actually, I think you're right to an extent, because the painful part is, I thought they could have sold for more as well.
Yeah.
Than what they got.
Yeah. So what I want to keep doing now is I want to be dropping chocolates and dropping sweets.
Oh, please, can you drop some in my house?
For my neighbor. As a matter of fact, today I was thinking, should I just put a banner in front of my house and say, your neighborhood realtor.
Just put coming soon.
Your neighborhood
You actually
realtor.
can. It's your lawn. You can do what you
right?
want.
Your neighborhood realtor lives here.
Yeah.
I think so. Your neighborhood realtor lives here. I think I like that. Wow, that's so interesting. Your neighborhood realtor lives here.
Yeah, we need to think of a campaign like that.
Yeah, just put it on my lawn, in front of my lawn, so anyone knows that, okay, there's a realtor here, right? So what I was going to share, that was one part. The other part of the property sold at a price, I mean, literally, I felt like we need to sell our property right away. Right? Because I felt like it's a detached property.
Right.
And in my mind, I'm like, it has a swimming pool.
Okay.
The bathrooms, I mean...
How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms?
2.
3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms?
Yeah, and it has a basement. So the basement is open, like finished, but not partitioned or divided for...
Separate entrance?
Separate entrance. It's a detached.
Nice.
Right?
Was there a kitchen in the basement as well? Or
so the basement is just open. Like, nothing has been done to make it livable in terms of partitioning for different sections. It's just open. So there's a room for you to actually create that structure.
Those partitions and everything. But besides that, it's finished.
It's finished. I mean,
nice.
It has some things. I mean, I guess they probably have parties there.
Okay.
And stuff like that. Excuse me. An interesting part is the fact that the amount it sold for, I was like, damn, a detached property? I asked them to one of my friends and I was like, guy, what's going on? I need to buy property right now.
So, meaning it was less than you thought
that
you
I
would
thought.
go for.
I mean, for sure. If
so
I say
that means it definitely didn't hit 6 figures.
It did.
So it didn't hit 7 figures.
No. It wasn't even. It wasn't. It was about 300,000 away.
Below that.
Yeah.
But to be fair though, if you think about it, for a detached property, it's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. That's not really big per se.
Yeah, but the fact that the possibility for the rental income is there.
Well, true.
In the basement. It's a finished basement. Well. Yeah, separate entrance.
That's a steal of a property.
Yeah, with a swimming pool.
Yeah, whoever bought that's a steal.
I mean, the entire area is fully cleaned up. Like, you have bricks all around. Like, anyone buying is basically doing nothing.
Nothing.
Because the bathroom was just renovated. I actually took a walk and I saw that they had some contractors just finished, some work around. You can still see their materials and tools around. So it was like, it was a real TLC.
I just had a really dark thought right now.
What's that?
What's the liability on a landlord if you have a swimming pool in that house now, and I'm guessing their intention is to rent it out, and something happens to a tenant that drowns in your pool? Is that the liability of the landlord?
So it is something they call vicarious liability.
So meaning what? What does that mean?
Like anything that happens that could show that you didn't provide reasonable care.
Got you. Or measures for that to happen.
But which is why we have home insurance, right?
Yeah, but they know there's a pool in the house. So what else would you do? And you can't say, oh, you're renting my property, but you can't use the swimming pool in the house. So
are you talking about rental?
So I'm assuming whoever bought that, and let's say they're going to rent out the upper floor and the lower floor.
Okay.
So it's a fully, like, the owner is not living in the property, it's not owner occupied. So let's say, God forbid, something happens where a tenant now has like an issue with the pool, like a drowning situation or whatever. So I'm trying to figure out who gets that liability.
So that would not be on the landlord, because except they can prove that the swimming pool was not in a good position, right? And which is why I said the vicarious liability comes into place, right? So, but if everything is good, just someone literally probably was.
But if God forbid is a kid in the house, it's
not for the landlord. So his responsibility is on whoever the guy It's not on. I mean, landlord has not. Like I said, except they can prove. Like the landlord, there was a vicarious liability on the landlord in terms of the pool was not in good condition for use, or the environment wasn't well taken care of, and they brought to the attention of the landlord. Because again, I could sell my house as it is, I could lease my house as it is, and if you don't complain about it, right, that is what it is, right? But again, there's a minimum standard of what's a livable based on we have the code, the building code. As
building
long as
code,
the property meets the building code requirement, because in investigation they'll look at things like that: vicarious liability, duty of care, the landlord holds, the building code, and all those things. Yeah. So I mean, it's difficult to. It's probably going to be very difficult to put on.
Yeah,
except those things were breached.
Well, God forbid anything like that ever happens.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about, what are some of the areas of opportunity? Because honestly, I actually believe it is a steal right now in the market.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know for anyone listening to me, probably you're thinking of buying, or you're probably, you had a plan of buying, or you're still thinking like, oh, maybe it's going to come down. I'm going to give you my honest, even if you don't want to work with us, my honest advice is this is a good time
to get into the market.
And if you had the plan to buy.
So I saw an article that said, that caught my attention. It said, the greatest wealth transfer for the last, I think either 15 or 50 years is happening now.
Now, yeah.
So when I saw that, I was thinking, I was like, because you always see all this kind of like, very catchy headlines. I'm like, what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean?
Is it genuine? Is
Do you
it
understand?
topic and the content real?
Exactly. Is it just to get like clickbaits and all that, clickbait and stuff like that? But then if you look at it and you think about it, right? Just from an investor standpoint, if you look at the markets, how last year things were like looking like everything was tanking.
Yeah.
Even last year, the start of this year, the start of this year, everything was tanking. And from like April, May, things have just been on an upward trend.
Yeah.
Crypto, tech stocks.
It's a big win right now.
You look at real estate as well. Like you said, prices are going for a steal right now.
Yeah.
Right? You can see a lot of investors coming back into the market as well. So I think those gems and those opportunities would always like you always say like about this Chinese sign that talks about crisis is the same sign that reads opportunity as well. Right? And there are gems in today's market, one of which is very simple. Rent prices are like low, they are down. Some might look, an investor might think, you might be thinking, okay, I want to buy an investment property, but rents are down. Why will I ever buy an investment property now? But at the same time, have you ever thought of Airbnb arbitrage, where people are leasing properties from landlords?
Subleasing.
And then they are using it as an Airbnb property for themselves, obviously with the permission of the landlord, right? Knowing fully well that even if you rent something out for like a 2-bedroom for like 2,000, right? Take it from a landlord, you do the furnishing by yourself.
Yeah.
After that, you put it on Airbnb. As long as the location makes sense, right? You can think about if you're getting $150 a night.
That's a lot.
Even if you rent it out for just 10 nights, is already $1,500. An additional 10 nights, already $3,000. And they're 30 days in a month.
Yeah.
You don't even have to rent it out for the whole 30 days, and you've already broken even already. Do you understand? The only thing is that major cost of you basically furnishing the house, making it look nice,
ready for living,
and also always having to clean and stuff like that afterwards. But even after that, that's $3,000 every month. So now that money that you want to use for a down payment, why not use that to furnish the apartment? So there are gems and there are opportunities in the market. So that's just one of the things that I'm just seeing in today's market, because rents are down. So why not explore that as well?
And of course, to build up on that, I think people need to know and look out for information as to when there are major events or activity happening in the city. For example, we have the World Cup. Trust me, people are going to cash out. I know of someone that told me he's probably going to is going to travel, is going on vacation that period, and they want to use that as Airbnb. It's genuinely going on a forced vacation
just to use
it
just
because they want to use it as Airbnb.
Right.
I had another person tell me they're moving to their sister's place.
Nice.
Just for like a month, like a vacation. I don't know whatever they're going to tell the family, right? People, that's even at the very unstructured, style. So we're talking about having to build the actual structure in terms of an investor into it. So if you already have an Airbnb as a structure, that's great. You're definitely going to cash flow for sure during this period, right? But I think again, people need to, I won't tell you to just buy and be anticipating that it's going to be, an event coming up, right?
So no, you have to think of multiple exit strategies or income strategies.
We spoke about the strategy for but I think it's really a very good thing. Another thing we're talking about is commercial property.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what is a commercial property? Because
as the word implies, commercial business means that properties or areas that are zoned for business use.
Right.
Again, you can find it in multiplex.
Yeah.
Multiplex, buildings
5 units
that have 5 units that has
upwards.
some parts are residential, some parts are used for what you see your corner stores,
Right.
pharmacies, dental care, and all that.
All that stuff,
So
right.
so I think that's a part people are not really. Most people don't really. Probably I think they don't understand how it works.
Okay.
Right. Someone might be asking, "Oh, okay, so whatever I see, it's a multiplex, right?" Yeah, exactly. So you find people living, on it could be 1 floor, 2 floors, and other parts are business. It could be a mixture of both. Some
like
are
a mixed use building.
Mixed use. Some
Right.
are offices. Some are
Right.
residential. Maybe a right hand side is office. A right hand side. You find a lot in downtown.
Yeah, downtown,
that has quite a kind of use like
Midtown
that.
areas as well,
Midtown
yeah.
as well. You find kind of use North York and those kind of places. You find a kind of structure.
For things like that, I would like to really touch on. So we can't dive too deeply into it, but let's even basically touch on the key things that people should be looking for, right? If you're thinking of commercial, the key thing about commercial properties, as Joe said already, is the income that the property generates.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. So if you think about our regular duplexes, triplexes, which is like 2 units or 3 units, or just like a single house with a separate basement, how the bank is appraising that is based on what the neighbor or a similar property sold for in the neighborhood, right? So if a duplex in a neighborhood sells for 500,000, if your duplex is in the same space, they might just appraise it at maybe like 550, depending on what finishes you have.
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, the beauty of commercial units is they want to know what is the net income the property is generating. So that is after all the expenses have been paid. Property taxes, what's it called?
Overhead
Interest,
cost, whatever.
PMI, basically.
PMI.
Mortgage insurance, property taxes, and even utilities
Interest.
as well. So once they look at all the expenses for that property, whatever the net income is, they use that net income, multiply it or divide it by the cap rate, which is like a return number that you want. Like that's 6%.
What's a cap rate? Do you want to?
So it's a capitalization rate. So think of it as the way you invest in a stock and you say, okay, on this stock, I want 7% or I want 6%.
Yeah.
Real estate assets, commercial real estate assets also have cap rates. Basically saying different reports will tell you, okay, in this neighborhood, industrial units have a cap rate of like 4.5%, or multi-family units have a cap rate of like 6% as well. So based on the net income and the cap rate, then you have an actual value for that commercial property. So I just wanted to really, really highlight that for anyone that's looking to get into commercial. The key thing is the net income of that property. And when you take over that property, your plan is what can you do to increase the net income? And there are 2 things you can do. Find additional ways of making income from the property or cut down the expenses on the property. That's it.
Yeah. And for commercial, I mean, it's not that cut and dry.
Right.
Okay, it's a little bit very, a little bit.
Of it, yeah.
And thinking about it, it just speaks to the way mortgage has been approved for properties that also have rental value.
Right.
As well, right? So if, for example, you're buying a detached property and your business is finished, right? And it's confirmed that can be a like an in-law suite or whatever rental property, right?
Or a secondary suite.
Yeah. That's another evaluation. It's going to make it a lot different. So what I mean is, let's say, for example, the properties, your income is probably, you can only qualify for a house of 800.
I see what you're saying. Right.
Right? If you have a property,
The finished basement. 2-bedroom.
They can actually qualify you way more than that.
It's 50,
based on what the rental value of that property, because
Yes.
basically that's like additional income coming to you that is kind of guaranteed based on the income of the property.
Absolutely.
Now back to commercial. And now I said it's not cut and dry because again, bank kind of the way they look at it, they're more critical.
Right.
On the way they look at it, because it's really so much about the business.
Yep.
It's less about you. It's so much about the business, the nature of business you want to do.
Right.
And I was talking to someone, we were talking about a church, and we're saying that bank kind of like, they're so very excited, they're so quick to want to give out money to businesses.
Right.
In terms of probably you're running a church, you're running a whatever business, as long as they can see your balance
Is
sheet.
a church a business? Don't put churches in
No. What I mean, I'm giving different categories of
Okay.
commercial building that are being used.
Okay, got you.
Right? Because
got you.
churches is going to be in that category based on the zoning, right?
Right.
So the point is, so I think someone was trying to buy a church was trying to get a very big property.
Okay.
And we're having issues with
The city.
in raising the money,
Got you.
right? And then we got talking with a friend, and I shared my insight to say that their problem is not with the bank, because the bank would come appraise that property,
Right.
know what the property value is, and as long as their balance sheet shows a good inflow over time,
Right.
the bank will be willing to offer that mortgage. Now, why is because the bank knows what the property. So the land is a property for
Okay.
the bank, and the bank knows that, you know what, we don't even want you to pay us our mortgage. We just want you to default. Because once you default, we know what the value of this property
is worth. We'll take it back
is.
from you.
Now, for business as well, for some class of business, we have class A, class B, class C kind of business. For class A kind of business, the bank also see it that way,
right?
Because of the cash flow, right, and the location of where the property is.
So, what would be considered a class A business?
So businesses that are netting probably an average of 1,500,000 on a yearly basis.
Okay.
Right, capitalization wise, right? Those are class A kind of business. And business that is not owned by an individual person.
Gotcha.
Right? Class B are businesses that are run on the basis of they deal with daily human consumable items.
Okay.
Right? So the bank kind of feel very confident that the business you are running is such that you definitely cash flow because of what you're doing. It's not you're not offering specialized services.
Okay.
You're offering services that anybody
can patronize.
Then the class C are businesses that are specialized, like an optician, like a dental
office, and stuff
so
like that.
The way they classify and the way they look at the capital is kind of very, very different in terms of their revenue. Because for some, it's almost as good as we can predict our guarantee the income is going to be based on the last 2 years of history of what they've done. Right. Now, for the class C kind of business, it's not so. It's kind of seasonal because most time if you look at it, not everybody is that dental care. Which is why, for example, you find your dental care trying to force you and telling you to come, calling you
time for your
because they know, calls, right? Have you ever had your corner shop call you to come and buy?
No, they don't.
Right?
You need
because
milk, you get milk.
You get milk, right? And even for your class A kind of business, have you ever had, let's say, like a Roger, right?
Or Bell store.
Or Bell store.
I mean, for you.
They come look for you, right? But that's not really the business value for them.
No.
They have their guarantee subscribers.
People that will always come in.
Where they always come in. So when the company kind of valuing that, they're valuing based on that. Also for a rental business, maybe a real estate business, maybe you're a realtor and you own a brokerage, right? So the way they also look at it, they look at it because they can always predict that for a realtor business is always going to cash flow, at a very reasonable time. And they look at the season, so they don't classify a realtor as class A. They look at it as class C.
Gotcha.
Because it's not a guaranteed income. That will always come in over and over and over again. Yeah.
Okay. But the average person is probably thinking, okay, yeah, Joe, I hear what you're saying. It sounds great. Class A, class B, class C. We know that an average commercial property or unit is like upwards of, depending on where it is, upwards of $1 million, 1 million, 1.5, 3, 2 million. So how do they gather the funds to buy something like that? Or how does it work?
So I'm very honest, right? It depends on the kind of business you're running. Okay. It depends. Is it a new business? Are you just new? What I call new entrants. Are you new into the business?
I don't even encourage people buying new business. I have a bias against buying new business.
Exactly. So is it a new business? Is it an existing business? Why is it being sold?
Okay.
Right? Is it because bankruptcy? Is it because...
But again, you're not buying the business. You're buying the property. We're talking of real estate investors, right? Or are we talking about buying businesses?
I'm saying it's another option. So for example, if I want to buy a building,
right?
The first question is, what's my plan for the building?
Okay.
Now, if it's a kind of similar business that I want to get into,
right,
that the business is currently doing, right, that could be an opportunity for me
to also jump
into that business, which means all their inventories, I can take it over.
Got you.
All their furniture,
so let's say you want to buy like a laundromat, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So I don't have to start all over from the scratch.
Right.
Right. I can take control of the entire, and I'm not buying the business again. Because the business owner might not want to sell the business because he still intends to go run the business somewhere else.
So you're just a new landlord.
Right? So, but in that case, you can leverage some of the things the structure they've already built as you having to start over that structure all over again, creating that visibility in that environment. You don't have to do all of that because it's kind of a similar business you want to do.
Okay.
Again, yeah. So that's what I'm trying. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay.
So for commercial, trust me, I think another option is people don't know that they actually can sublease.
Okay.
In commercial, right? So meaning that I can have a building that I lease, right? And then probably my rent is I lease it for like 5 years, and I probably use it for like 1 year, right? I can sublease it for the next 3 years. The next 4 years to some as long as the zoning is fine. It kind of doesn't want to come and they want to run, and you see a lot of them, a lot of warehouses, being built around whenever I drive through, Pickering, between Whitby and Oshawa. There's quite a whole lot of those
small businesses on the high street.
On the high street. There's even one that is probably new right now, still under construction. The areas are coming up. I think so. Most people just don't know.
Right.
People don't look into it. Right. I can lease that property and then sublease it.
But then it's important to also know that even if you sublease to somebody in commercial, you are still liable for the lease.
Absolutely.
You're still liable. So if you need to do your due diligence as to who you're subleasing to, so you don't put yourself in trouble.
And you can even buy into it, right? So again, the point is, instead of you having to buy into... So beautiful thing I like about commercial when it comes to... Because people get concerned with rental property.
Right.
You have rent, default, cash flow, with tenant pay or
Landlord
not pay.
and tenant board,
so for example, with a commercial property, if I was to buy, let's say, a storage facility,
right?
I mean, I'm talking about a very massive storage facility,
right?
And I'm to lease it to someone else. I'm not leasing on a monthly basis.
No,
it's going to be on a long-term lease.
It's a 5 year,
2
to 5 year
for 5 years. You know. So that's a guarantee. Cash flow. So
and you can get them out in 10 days if they don't pay.
So which would you prefer? Tenants have a lot of rights. That is protected.
Are you against human rights?
No. I'm just saying. We're talking business. Yeah, let's leave sentiment now.
Okay,
this is business, right?
Fair enough.
So think about it, right? So, but most people don't look into commercial.
Right.
Everyone. I mean, probably nobody tells them this truth. People get caught up with, condominiums,
and
buy residential. But I can tell you, if you don't have the stress, if you're not ready to go through all the drama of rental property or residential property, I would advise you going to commercial.
Think commercial as well.
Because it might be capital intensive, but the cash flow is better.
It's there.
Yeah, you'll be amazed that, I mean, what you're leasing for 3-5 years, you're probably on top of it already in terms of breaking even already.
Right.
Because it's a cash flowing business. I mean, you don't even have a business.
And the tenants are the ones paying all of the utilities for it too.
Do you understand? You're walking away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Completely.
And these are businesses.
So the chances of, I mean, they'll probably only default when they're declaring bankruptcy.
Right. Aside from that, they'll be there.
They'll be there, right? Because they're running the business, right? So for me, that's a big cheat that we've just shared now. People should look into commercial property. You see them in your neighborhood, a new building coming up, ask questions. You see some for lease, go there, make inquiry. And might not be as expensive as you even think, right? Find people, come around. I think people should learn to leverage community.
Right.
You and I know some communities that are very, very heavy into this.
Right.
Right. They come together, put funds together, and you see them.
Especially if you and the person have complementary businesses, for instance. So let's say you decide to go into, maybe you want to open a bakery, for instance, right? And you buy a building. And you know a friend that maybe does gift items or whatever. You can buy it, you open your bakery, your friend opens the store next to you and does the gift items. The next door, someone else will come and do, like, I'd put a restaurant there as well. Like, so it doesn't have to be, like you're saying, it doesn't have to be just narrow focused or laser focused on just one thing. Think complementary, think community, think about how you can really, really maximize this asset that you're getting into.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you actually can hone the entire forward and backward integration with commercial. So meaning that XYZ company lease this space for use. Now, this is my advice. This is a business. I'm giving free business advisory consultation. Free. Now, I already started a business. Okay, that leasing business that I want to get into.
Right.
And register the other business that I want to be operating as a business. Okay. And then I will lease this property.
Oh, to that business.
I get
what you're saying, right.
And I'm teaching you some tax.
So they are both the landlord and the tenant.
Yeah, both landlord and the tenant. And what you're doing is what they call transfer pricing.
Right.
Because you're transferring, whatever liabilities here, whatever they spend, all the expenses, you transfer it over here, your GST, HST, and all those things. And then you just keep bouncing things around, right? And also from a tax avoidance,
even though this is not tax advice, please speak to your accountant.
Yeah, right. So it's also it's also another way of managing your tax.
Benefits as well.
Benefit of managing your tax. I'm just saying, once you want to go into commercial,
a lot of opportunities
to run for a business. Right. Those are very great. I will not advise you to, that's your plan.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Yeah. So speaking about commercial, before we move from this, I also want to speak about 5 units or more, and this is still residential.
Yeah.
So any residential property that has 5 units or more is considered commercial as well, even though it's residential.
Yeah.
So the beauty of it is that now the city of Toronto, I'm not sure if you saw this, the city of Toronto just allowed 6 plexes as of right in I believe in either 9 or 12 wards in the city of Toronto. Okay, so and that includes, I know, Scarborough North, East York, and a few places like Hyde Park and those areas as well. Meaning that before, if you wanted to build like 6 units on a plot of land, you'd have to go through a lot of loopholes, jump here, get community involved, get the community involved, get approvals,
every neighborhood.
But now, because Toronto has a housing crisis, as we all know, right? So now, in some areas now, you can build a 6-plex unit. Now, why am I saying this?
Is that not what we call intensification?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so why am I saying this now? Not just 6-plexes, you can do 4-plexes, you can do triplexes as well. Development might actually be something that will be opening up for even a first-time home buyer moving forward. Because if you have the cash flow, if you have those amount of funds, or even yourself and your family, you have siblings here or whatever, if you build on something, you can build a triplex where you live in it for yourself. And like you said initially, right, you rent out the other 2 units.
Yeah.
And that income counts for you as well.
Counts for you, yeah. Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so those opportunities are actually opening up now, and so there's a lot that's going to be happening moving forward. In fact, the federal government is actually annoyed because they wanted Toronto to do it like across the whole of the city of Toronto, but they only did like 12 wards and said, okay, Mayor Charles said, okay, every other person or every other community has to, they optionally opt in if they want to. Right, which is not what the province was what the federal government was looking for, but I guess they want to just try and run. So a lot of things are happening in that space as well.
Wow. I mean, this is very exciting to know.
Yeah.
Guess what? Where else would you rather be? Like, tell me, what podcast will you get some information from? Free information. What podcast? Let's be very real. Tell me. I only know of one podcast.
The YRJ podcast.
The YRJ podcast.
Absolutely.
Okay. So today we've just been able to go around and really give people some insight as regards the opportunities that are available to them out there. Don't just think residential. Have an open mind. Think commercial.
I think collaboration.
That's another very key thing. Think collaboration. Right? You don't have to do it all alone.
Right.
At the end of the day, you want to create a value. You want to create a business, and you want to make good money.
Right.
Okay. I hope you've learned something today.
I know I have.
Where I've learned something, the information you just shared about the multiplex that is coming up in the city. For me, that's a very good information. To know, so we could go back, tell more to our customers, to our clients, what's happening, what's new.
Yeah, it's an exciling time in the city of Toronto for real estate.
It is.
And more exciting times are definitely coming.
And more surprising time.
Looking forward
when
to
you find the type of selling below 7 figures. It's really very interesting. So
again, like I said, the wealth transfer, it's happening. So
you don't want to lose out on it. Speak to a good real estate agent. Speak to a professional. Speak to the YRJ podcast. Speak to Joe and Nasser. Till we come here on Wednesday time, it's still your YRJ podcast with Joe
and Nasser.
Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for joining in, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.